Hi, friends. It's Amy with Humility and Doxology, and I am so excited to come and share with you today four things. Three of them are book titles, and one is a special free printable pack available right now for email subscribers to Humility and Doxology. You get an entire pack of morning time plans that I have put together for you for free, as well as several pages of books, a printable book list you can take to the library, optional hands-on resources and project ideas, and a suggested schedule that you could use as written or use as best fits your family's schedule. I began putting this together to use in my own family this November, and I knew as a library girl that if I didn't get my holds in now, it might be too late. I would be too far down on the hold list. So even though this seems kind of early in the season, I know it's just October. I just broke out my scarf today, but I'm still sleeveless because it's hot. Even though it's just October, it is the time to start planning ahead and thinking about how you can incorporate some unique Thanksgiving themed memory work, recitation, and read alouds in your family. If you're a homeschooler, you can certainly use it as part of your homeschool day. But even if you're not, this would be a great thing to read at dinner or after dinner with the family, or even just the book lists on their own is definitely a great resource. So I've put the link to sign up and get access to that free download. I think it's over a dozen pages at this point. So I'm very excited about that, and I hope it is a blessing for you. But today I wanted to come and share three books that I discovered in some of my research for these Thanksgiving morning time plans. I put up on the blog actually a post with a link to all of the books that I have on the book list. So you can go there and see at least the book list that is a part of the morning time plans. But I always love finding new picture books, and there are three that were new to me that had a similar theme that I wanted to come and share with you today. And I hope to come and do some other lives with some of the other book resources and suggestions as well through the month of October. But the three picture books I'm about to share with you have a similar theme in that they all relate in some way to the experience of immigrants from other countries here to the United States as they experience and celebrate Thanksgiving, which at least the American Thanksgiving is a unique holiday to our country. Of course, other countries around the world also have Thanksgiving and harvest celebrations. But as we as Americans typically think of it, it seems very connected to our nation's history. So the first book I wanted to share with you is called Balloons Over Broadway. And it is by, well, I'll have to look up the author. I don't have it right offhand. Oh, Melissa Sweet, Caldecott Honor winner. And it is the true story of the puppeteer of Macy's parades, Tony Sarg. Many of us, that's a tradition or something we remember from childhood, watching the parade. I had no idea the story behind the man who actually came up with this whole idea. He loved to make marionettes and inventions as a boy. The illustrations in this book are super fun and unique. Here's an example of a more traditional page, but here are some, it's just really cool looking. And part of the reasons why Macy's came up with the idea for the parade that eventually evolved into the parade that we know it today is that they had many of the people working at Macy's, I'll read a small quote from the book, were immigrants, and as the holidays approached, they missed their own holiday traditions of music and dancing in the streets. Macy's agreed to put on a parade for their employees, and they hired Tony to help. Tony, too, was an immigrant, so he loved the idea of creating a parade based on street carnivals from all over the world. He made costumes and built horse-drawn floats, and Macy's even arranged to bring in bears, elephants, and camels from the Central Park Zoo. So that is how it all began, and as you'll have to read the story to find out all of his inventions, but a very colorful, fun, and delightful read, Balloons Over Broadway. The next book was new to me, but the author is not. I've read many books from her, the Canterbury Tales. She wrote a version of that. She wrote 7 Daughters and 7 Sons, which is a chapter book, historic fiction. But this book I had never seen or read. It's called Molly's Pilgrim by Barbara Cohen. And it is the story of a young girl, Molly, whose family has immigrated from Russia. They're a Jewish family who experienced persecution, and they've immigrated to America. And she's about to experience her first American Thanksgiving. And she is terribly ridiculed by the other children at school. It's very difficult for her. Her mother only speaks Yiddish, does not really speak English. But she hears the story of the pilgrims. And the teacher assigns all of the students to go home and make a pilgrim doll and bring it in. So Molly goes home and tells her mother the story of the pilgrims, and her mother is so excited by this story. She identifies with it because that is her experience as well. I'm just getting goosebumps even telling you about this. And so the mother says, "Oh, may I please make this doll?" And so when Molly gets up in the morning, her mom has made this beautiful doll, but it's dressed as a young, traditionally attired Russian girl. Molly brings it. She knows she's going to be ridiculed. And in fact, the other students in the class do ridicule her and ridicule this doll, and she's so ashamed. And so the teacher asks her to explain. I'll read again a brief excerpt from this book. Miss Stickley put her hand on my shoulder. "Tell me what your mama said, Molly." "This doll is dressed like Mama," I explained slowly. "Mama came to America for religious freedom too. Mama said she's a pilgrim." And then the response of the teacher to the other students and her response to Molly is just beautiful, and I don't want to spoil it for you, but definitely recommend adding this book, Molly's Pilgrim, to your read aloud. It's very short. It would be an easy read for probably a second grade on your child's reading level. But it's so short, it would be very easy to read this aloud in one sitting to the family, before breakfast, at lunchtime. Numbered. You can see it's very thin. So definitely recommend that book as well. The final book in the same theme, these immigrants who are experiencing an American Thanksgiving for the first time. I am not ashamed to say, kind of made me tear up a little bit. Actually, Molly's Pilgrim did as well. And this book is called Duck for Turkey Day. This is by Jacqueline Jules. And this is a story about a family from Vietnam. And just like with Molly's Pilgrim, the little girl is in school and her teacher is talking about the American traditions of Thanksgiving and how many people call it Turkey Day and the traditions of turkey and dressing and all those sort of traditional foods we associate with Thanksgiving. And so the little girl goes home and is telling her mother, "We have to have turkey for Turkey Day." But her mother says, "No, we're going to have duck." And her grandmother comes and says, "Oh, we're going to use my traditional Vietnamese recipe. It's our family recipe for duck." And the little girl is very concerned that this is not a true American Thanksgiving. 1 minute, buddy. Hold on just a second. The door is locked. That's the 3-year-old. Anyway, I think I hear an older sibling coming to grab him. So she worries that this is not an authentic Thanksgiving because they are having duck. But all her cousins come and her family, and they have this lovely party and celebration and enjoy being together. So she goes back to school, and the teacher is asking everyone, "What did you do for Thanksgiving?" And the teacher says, "Who'd like to talk about their dinner?" And the little girl's eyes are burning with tears. Yes, exactly, Lena. And the teacher says, "Is there something wrong?" And she says, "We didn't have turkey. We had duck." For a few moments, the class was quiet. Then Fong raised his hand. "We didn't have turkey either," he said. "We had noodles and chicken." "We had lamb," Tarek said. "We had roast beef," Jonathan said. "We had enchiladas," Carolina said. "We had tofu turkey," Amy said. Mrs. Cook smiled. "It doesn't matter what you eat on Thanksgiving, as long as you have a good time with family and friends." So she goes home back to her family with renewed appreciation for her own family's heritage and culture, and being able to feel like that is able to come in and be a part of joining also this American tradition to her family's tradition from another country. So just a beautiful, heartwarming story. I really recommend all three of these to you. So again, that was Balloons Over Broadway, The Story of the Macy's Puppeteer, Molly's Pilgrim, and Duck for Turkey Day. And I have links to those in the description, as well as a link to the Thanksgiving morning time plans. And I would love if anyone wanted to comment with their own family's favorite Thanksgiving traditions or favorite books you read every year during autumn, or some of the holidays that were beginning to come up as well. And I will hope to pop back in and share more book titles from my list later this month.